The afternoon sun hung gently over a busy street in Chicago, light reflecting off glass windows and moving cars as Daniel stood outside a small family café, his hands slightly nervous as he adjusted the collar of his worn but clean shirt. This was the first time in years he had agreed to a date. Life as a single dad of triplets had not left much room for hope or romance. Inside the café, Emily sat across from him, her fingers wrapped tightly around a cup of coffee she had not touched, her eyes kind but tired. When the waitress placed the menu down, Emily swallowed hard and spoke softly. "I'm sorry I cannot afford this date." The words fell between them heavier than any bill. Daniel opened his mouth to respond, but before he could say anything, the bell over the cafe door rang, and 3 identical voices filled the room with laughter. His triplets had followed him after school without him knowing. Leo, Max, and Sam, all 7 years old, all carrying the same spark in their eyes. They ran to the table and climbed onto the empty chairs without permission. Emily looked shocked and embarrassed, her eyes lowering as if she wanted to disappear. Daniel started to apologize, but the boys were already talking. "Daddy, this is the lady you said was nice," Max asked. "And why does she look sad?" Sam added. Emily tried to smile, but her eyes filled with tears. Leo leaned forward seriously and said, "You should not cry. My dad says crying makes your heart tired." Emily laughed weakly and wiped her eyes. Daniel finally found his voice and said, "Boys, this is Emily. Emily, this is my entire world." The waitress returned, looking confused, and Daniel quickly ordered 3 lemonades and a plate of fries. Emily shook her head and whispered, "Daniel, I really cannot." But before she could finish, Sam interrupted and said our mom used to say when people sit together they share, not pay. The cafe grew quieter as nearby customers listened. Daniel felt his chest tighten. Emily tried to stand up, but Leo gently took her hand and said, "Please sit. If you leave, Daddy will think he did something wrong, and he cries when we're asleep." Emily froze, her emotions breaking free as tears finally rolled down her cheeks. She sat back down slowly. Daniel reached for her hand and said, "I did not invite you here for money. I invited you because talking to you made my days lighter." The boys nodded as if this made perfect sense. Max waved to the waitress and said, "Can we share everything?" The waitress smiled warmly and nodded. Daniel noticed Emily looking at the triplets with something like wonder. She whispered, "I grew up learning to apologize for existing." Daniel replied, "Then maybe today you learn you do not have to." Outside the cafe, the city moved on, but inside time seemed to soften. The boys told stories about school and how their dad burned toast every morning. Emily laughed through tears, and for the first time in a long while, felt seen without judgment. When the food arrived, they all shared from the same plates. Fries passing hand to hand, laughter replacing shame. As the afternoon light shifted, Emily looked at Daniel and said, "Thank you for not letting me walk away." Daniel smiled and answered, "Thank you for staying." The boys raised their glasses of lemonade, and Leo announced, "This is now a happy table." Emily laughed fully this time, a sound that surprised even her. And in that simple, crowded cafe in Chicago, surrounded by noise and sunlight, something gentle and real was born. If this story touched your heart, then please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Soul of Kindness. Your support keeps these stories alive. Like, share, and subscribe to Soul of Kindness.